Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Harlem. It is an honor for me to stand here at Harlem Hospital, actually the place where I was born. Thank you. Thank you. My brother and I were both born here, and we like to tell people that what's special about being born in Harlem Hospital is that your first drink is actually chocolate milk in your bottle. So it is an honor to be here, and I'm thrilled to be here with you today. I have led a number of different organizations, and I'm still leading them, a number of them, and I found that visionary leadership is the most impactful type of leadership there is. So one day, I was walking down the street, not too far away from here, and I realized that as I was looking at the street sign, it was a little blurry. Things just weren't as clear. Now, I knew something was going on. I thought maybe it was stress. I thought maybe I was stressed out, right? But I knew something was going on because I am also what I would like to consider, and many of you probably consider yourselves, an athlete or a fictional athlete. And I knew that as I was playing softball, which I prided myself on, I was part of the Drew Hamilton Warriors here in Harlem as a kid, I noticed that I had more swings and misses than I actually had hits. So I knew something was off. So I found myself going to the optometrist, and he says, "You need glasses." Now, Cedric the Entertainer calls himself a Devo, a male diva. And I like to consider myself a Devo as well. So since I was on this glasses journey, I had some pretty nice ones, right? But I was introduced to LASIK surgery. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with LASIK surgery, it is where a doctor works to reshape the cornea to allow light into the retina, thereby correcting your vision. I went under the knife after, of course, signing away any right to go after the doctor if anything went wrong with my eyes. That night, I was able to walk to an ice cream shop literally 10 blocks away from here without glasses. I felt I had my power back. Now, I've worked with some incredible leaders throughout my time, and some had a little bit more vision than others. They never corrected themselves to inspire and motivate you as they were at the top. Let me give you an example of just four people, four different iterations of folks that I worked with. One actually I didn't work with when I mentioned his name. We all know him, but I wish I would have worked with him. The first one was an elected official who every year pulled together senior staff for an off-site retreat that we called Festivus. Everyone knows Festivus from Seinfeld? So we had our own Festivus, and at Festivus, we would sit down and we would talk about the issues of the day. What was going on? What did we not deliver on? How could we be more responsive? But more importantly, that leader had the vision to say, if we do these 5 things and we do them well, if we work for New Yorkers, if we work for people, I know that we can get from here to here. I know that we will have that position. And wouldn't you know it, 10 to 15 years later, that individual is in that position today. That's vision. That's visionary leadership. Another example of someone I've worked for was the CEO of a company that had outgrown its space. And that leader knew that for the sake of the company and for the sake of the thousands of employees that worked there, they needed to expand. They needed to find a place somewhere in the tri-state region. Now, those of us from New York know that land is at a premium, but they found a place. And there was nothing there. So I was hired to come in and assist, and the CEO says, "Hey, have you ever been to the location that we're looking at?" I replied in the negative. He said, "Let's go." So we went up to the Bronx from Queens, 2 carloads of leaders of this company. And we get out, and the leader, the CEO, stands in the middle of a grassy area. Nothing there but tires and some bones. I'll call them chicken bones. We're going to be positive today. And that leader said, "Here's where the front door is going, and it's going to extend to the rear over here. It's going to go all the way back, and that's where transportation is going to be, and folks are going to come in here." And guess what happened in that moment? We believed. We believed. We knew. We saw it. It was akin to Charlie Murphy meeting Rick James for the first time and seeing the glow around him. I can tell you that day I saw the glow. I saw the possible out of nothingness. The third example, as I mentioned, is someone that we all know, and that's the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. In 1963, he held his March on Washington for Jobs and Freedoms that was organized by Bayard Rustin and A. Philip Randolph. And thank you to Bayard Rustin for all of his hard work on this, being the operational leader, the operational mind behind the march, because every visionary needs an operational leader. If you know the speech, the I Have a Dream speech, Dr. King stood there and he went through a speech, and it was a great speech, but he needed a surgeon. That surgeon was Mahalia Jackson, who at the 10-minute mark said to Dr. King, "Tell him about your dream, Martin. Tell him about your dream." Guess what Dr. King did at that point? He closed the book. He pushed it to the side. And he spoke from the heart. Told everyone about his dream, and the rest is history. The last person I'm going to talk about is my father. My father, Larry Blackmon, is the leader and founder of a legendary R&B band. And one day we were talking, and I said to him, "Hey, what happened around 1982, 83 when the band split? What made you really start to dive into new technology and embrace the changes that were coming to music?" Now, if you talk to my father, he would say he wasn't influenced by anyone. But if you listen to the music, you can clearly hear three different time zones, if you will. The first being one influenced by Parliament Funkadelic, the Ohio Players. The second one being molded and influenced by Earth, Wind, and Fire, and the third uniquely their own. So I said, "Hey, what changed? What happened? Why did you embrace electronic drums?" And he gave me a 3-word answer. He said, "I was bored." It was that boredom that allowed him to get surgery, change the course of his musical career, change lives in the process, and become R&B legends. What I will say to you today, ladies and gentlemen, is that it is my belief that visionary leadership is, in fact, the most powerful form of leadership there is, and the one that we need today to fix and cure all of the ills of our society. I've led many organizations, as I've said, and the first trait that matters in visionary leadership is when you walk into a room. I'm going to ask all of you to do this with me. Keep your eyes fixated on me and just take a deep breath in through your nose. Now exhale. I hope you smelled my cologne. But what I really wanted you to know is that you smelled my authenticity. Communities that have often been left behind look for that when you walk in. The first thing they do is they look at the person delivering a message and say, "Can we trust them? Are they real? Are they authentic?" Whether you're the CEO of a company, whether you're the president of a not-for-profit, whether you're your block association president or your tenant association leader, we all have qualities of visionary leadership. We are bold. We are brave. We are authentic. We're communicative. We take risks. And for those of us who have resources, we provide those resources in abundance. So I say to you, now that we stand here today, again, visionary leadership is the way to go. We all have it in us. We're all entrepreneurs. It was during the pandemic that visionary leadership allowed me to help lead an initiative to provide 6.5 million pounds of food to New Yorkers who needed it most. Herculean task, but it took a visionary to say that we can do it. It takes visionaries to get up every morning to open up their shops at 5 a.m., to feed workers that are going to work. It takes visionaries for single parents to get up every day and take their kids to school and provide a life for their loved ones. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I say the best leaders often employ L.A.S.I.K. They know when to pivot. They know when to lead. And I encourage you all to become visionary leaders. Thank you for your time.